Yes, I'm not Albert Einstein, but I'm pretty good. Welcome you all. This is a MedBix webcast. This is a we stream on 7 channels, live stream channels on 7 channels. It's a new kind of healthcare media channel. We promote we are physician advocacy kind of a company it is. So then we have a really unique program that I introduce a guest and then I present a topic, very interesting to the physicians and the history of physicians. And today's topic is going to be after introducing our distinguished guest and Laura Hochman. Lara Hochman, she is a physician, Dr. Lara Hochman. She is from Austin, Texas. After presenting her and then talk with her for a few minutes, and then I'll present the topic: three women, foreign women from India, Syria, and Japan, who came to the United States in 1883. Think about that. That is the story I'm going to present it. After that, I come back and I'll talk with her some more with Laura about what his adventures are and everything. Okay, so welcome you all again. This is an exciting broadcast. It is a very new kind of a model. You don't see everywhere. Most of the medical channels or talk about diseases or advances. We talk about the concepts, interdisciplinary concepts. So mathematics and physics and arts and technology and philosophy, those kind of things that actually fuel the innovations. Not the MBAs, but MBA is not bad if you get it improves the operational efficiency, but it doesn't give you innovation tools. So this is what I do is that present some of the good ideas in the innovation side. But without further ado, let me bring uh, Dr. Lara Hochman and welcome, Lara. Welcome
Hi.
to MedBix webcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
You know, in Sweden, actually, there is a physician. Let us talk about a physician burnout. And in Sweden, they had ICD code, actual ICD code that is called a state of vital exhaustion. The ICD code, they put it for the physician burnout. You will be surprised why there are so many physicians are quitting nowadays and large numbers and the profession itself. What is going on? You tell me as a physician, what's going on with them?
Yeah, with physician burnout, it's a huge problem we have today. A lot of almost every physician went into medicine because we care about people and we want to take care of people. And we're taking very, very high achieving people who are smart and really push ourselves pretty hard. And then, we go through this pretty rigorous training and we get out and it's not just that it's difficult, we expect that. It's more that we are forced to see higher volumes than are safe or where we're able to take good care of the patients. And, we don't get trained in business, we're trained in medicine. And so, um, we've had non physicians take over the business side of medicine to the point where we're doing things that aren't really aligned with our values. And there's a lot of soul sucking that goes along. And, physicians are just not able to take care of their patients in the way that we want to take care of them. And we're forced to see higher volumes than we're able to without the feeling that we have any control or any say in being able to decide how we take care of those patients.
I'm a defector from Silicon Valley. I'm a non-physician, but I spent 30 years. I used to own imaging center, MRI, CT scan, ultrasound. I used to own imaging center. So I understand 30 years. I placed doctors all over the country. Decades I placed with them. I understand the pains and what they go through. It is a problem is this new IT, what they promised us that the what they promised us that these EMRs, EHRs come down and they make it easier their life. But the evidence shows that there is not an easier situation for them. And what is your take on that? Each EMR and EHR's life making your life easier.
There's definitely some benefits to the EHRs. It makes it a lot easier to communicate as far as, if you're in the same system as if a patient is hospitalized, then you can see what happened. It's very easy to get those records. If they're not in the same system as you, well, then it's just as hard as if it was a paper chart. But, I would agree that EHRs have absolutely decreased quality of life for physicians. I remember back when we used paper charts, I would leave on a late day at 5:30 after having taken a full hour for lunch. And I was like, "Gosh, it's 5:30, it's so late. I've just finished my charting, but now I get to go home." And then as soon as we implemented the EHR in the same system, then I was leaving around 6:30, 7, my charts completed, having not lunch break. My workload increased by a few hours every day after we implemented the EHRs. So it definitely is not helpful for
Yeah.
any
You know, I had a
work-life
one doc, I had a one doctor who is over 50, 60s actually. He used to tell me when they started implementing EMRs, he used to do all the curse words you can imagine. God damn, this is I'm looking at the buttons rather than a patient. He used to get cursing me all the time, cursing the computer all the times, all expletive words. I can see the frustration. They have to demonstrate somehow the EMRs are useful in certain extent, as you say, that what is going on with the patient you can follow up easily. But now there is a new thing is coming up, AI. What do you think of the role of AI in helping the physicians and their burnout?
It depends on how the AI is implemented and what the AI is. There's such a broad reaching, AI has so much potential. So I think, maybe, I mean, if we're forced to use EMRs, then why not
Yeah,
give AI a
a
try?
chance.
Yeah.
So what is the problem with the that coding is itself? If you are working as a, say, a locum physician, for example, upcoding this evaluation and management codes that you have to do. They say that this code level 3, level 4, level 5. I used to remember that. I used to do the bill. I used to write a coding for billing, medical billing. So I remember that. So is it big challenge for the people working there? What you have to write a specific documentation to do the coding part of it?
Yeah, it's really quite ridiculous. A lot of our documentation as physicians is coding for the insurance companies, not coding what's relevant. So, you can upcode a little bit if you document a few more things in the physical exam, or whether it's relevant or not. So, like if someone comes in with, I don't know, some maybe anxiety, and we're going to code for what their eyelids look like, and are they well hydrated, and is their skin tone, does it look healthy, or is there some kind of like jaundice maybe, or something. Like, that's not really relevant.
Yeah.
But in order to code to get paid for your visit, you got to do those things. And so it adds quite a significant amount of time. Number one, to document it. Number two, to make sure that you've counted all the bullet points to make sure that you have enough to be able to get paid for your visit. And then, you send it off to the insurance companies, and the insurance company, of course, takes 3 months to pay, 2 to 3 months to pay. And then when they do pay, it may be wrong, or they may deny your claim, or whatever. So there's so much, it takes more time. And um, we have to hire people to go after the money that, you know,
So
because
the 2021, they said evaluation management. You don't have to do coding. There are some changes. Some decent changes are good and towards good things. Is that right? Some changes are much easier now. You don't have to code like before. The entire history of the grandfather, grandmother's history, you can do basically the patient basic state of the health. You can do that. Is that right? It's still
it could be
headache,
a
still a
little
lot of
bit
headache.
better. I mean, we still have like ICD-10 codes, which is really quite ridiculous. And again, that's not charting for us. That's charting for the insurance companies.
Yeah, correct. So there's another burden for you is a malpractice insurance, right? Is a malpractice is make sure that you watch out right there. You're making sure that you're doing right things. That is another pressure on you when you're seeing patient. Is that right?
Yes. So, a lot of, again, back to the documentation, a lot of physicians document or even order tests, or treat things in defense. So, we call it defensive medicine, where you're ordering tests or documenting certain things to try to protect yourself from being sued. And that's a huge part of the moral injury that physicians are feeling, is that we are, we're in this to try to help people. And it's one thing, there's already a big fear of like, people are going to complain because I did the right thing, because it's not what they wanted. Like if someone wants an inappropriate medication and the physician actually does what's right and doesn't give it to them, then they're going to get a bad Yelp review or all of that. But even worse than that, we can get sued for trying to help people. A lot of times, there are unrealistic expectations put on physicians where they expect us to be robots and get absolutely nothing wrong, but not realizing that we're human, we're all going to do something wrong at some point or another, and B, they may have something super rare that it would be that if you take 20 doctors, maybe one would be able to diagnose it. But if you have one of those conditions and your physician misses it or even doesn't get it quickly enough or quickly enough for what you think is quick enough, the physician can be sued. And so there's a lot of fear around um, being sued for physicians because it's just an absolutely awful experience, and it really affects your ability to get a job down the line as well.
What do you suggest? What are the things that physicians, to make their life easier? What do you suggest?
Oh, that's a huge question.
Huge question. In entire medical history, you want to say that? Yeah, yeah.
One of the things,
Top 2 points.
gosh, this is a lot. I mean, I think if you're a patient, at least just show your appreciation. I mean, that could be huge. Yeah, I don't think people realize how little doctors are appreciated, and it goes a long way. There's so many things. I mean, physicians really just need more time with their patients. They need more grace when they're running late. I don't think people realize why doctors run late. Um, Ultimately, we need more time. We need to be able to practice medicine the way we know we should be practicing medicine, and not the way the insurance companies or the administrators tell us to practice.
I love entrepreneurs like you. That really makes a difference. I think we encourage people like you, particularly women, in leading this kind of things. Is if you go to Silicon Valley, so you see a man. You are one of the exceptions that you do. That's what we need. We need more men, more compassion, more empathy, all those things, and then understanding the medicine. Without that, I'm going to present it and I come back. When I come back, I'll ask you what is your venture is, what your plans are for your company, what you're trying to do for the doctors and other people. I'm going to present this one. You're going to watch with me, along with me. This is a presentation. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, that's a Lara Hochman, a wonderful lady. She's upcoming physician, and she is just doing quite a bit. So actually, this is a story of three women in 1883. They came to the United States to study medicine. It's a 19 and 20-year-old people, three of them. I can tell you that is their story. I'm going to explain to you who are those people are and where they came from. Life in America in 1885. So I tell you that I need to give you some kind of a background. What is the life in America at that time? The Statue of Liberty is not even installed. It is just arrived. AT&T was incorporated, at the time. Wyoming white miners killed Chinese co-workers for the discriminatory problems and all those things. So racial violence. It's happened in 1885. So after that, America year 1885, transportation, there is no cars, there is no automobiles. Those are all horse buggies. You have to go from Philadelphia to New York. You have to go by horse buggy or a train, probably. So there's no indoor plumbing. Women have to go outside. There's all those things. This is like India. It reminded me back in India at the time when I was growing up. So just 20 years ago, slavery, just 20 years after the slavery, that's 1885. These women came from Thomas Edison, just in the prime age. He was deploying electrical lines in the Rochelle, New Jersey. Near Rochelle is very close to the Edison itself. Thomas Edison, city of Edison. It is not that far from Thomas Edison. That's why it's named after him. Thomas Edison, that city lines were electrical lines were first one in the United States were deploying there. My brother is an electrical engineer, and my family has a lot of electrical engineers there. So, what kind of diseases in 1883 and 1885? There is same usual suspects. Cholera is most of them are bacterial because they are sanitation problems. Cholera is one of them. The typhoid are all the bacterial. Malaria is one of the that is from mosquitoes. Yellow fever, that's the only thing viral, I think. Whooping cough and tuberculosis, all bacterial infections. That's all big in 1883. So these are the there is no NIH. There used to be National Board of Health, 1879. Just they abandoned in 1883. They closed that National Board of Health. It used to be called. So you learn a lot from history. For example, so what they do in pain medication, they use opium, morphine, and then cocaine is, people, there is a strange, cocaine is the pain medication at the time. Fever, there's a antipyretics, it's like a bark, the willow bark, that's called, they used to give for the fever. Skin is a camphor, this is like old grandmother used to give all these things to you. Those are all same thing they were doing that at the time in 1883. So, what is the medications available at the time? There is only Johnson and Johnson came out in Band-Aid at the time. That's a Band-Aid that came out. That's not the right one. On the left side one is the one very Band-Aid just came out. That's the only thing is, that is anti-infection. That's okay. Then can reduce the infection, stop the. So there is a first women's college of Pennsylvania started in Philadelphia downtown. That is now Dexter University campus. That is right now Drexel University campus. That is a building, 3-story big house. It looks like a big house, but 3-story. The biggest, tallest building at the time is 10-story building in Chicago, near CS Tower. 10 stories is the tallest building. This is a 3-story building. Is Women's College of Pennsylvania. It's a downtown. I've been there. I've been to that campus. Now there is nothing left. They put the Drexel University. The library is there now. You can go and visit the city. So there is three people came from for the study medicine in the United States. Usually they go to England, but they came to United States. When she came, she's Ananda Joshi. She's from city of Pune, India. She's near Mumbai. She came from there. She's 19 years old. She came to study in the United States to study medicine. So she enrolled in the University of the Women's College of Pennsylvania. Then I tell you where Gandhi was. Gandhi was not even a high school. He was not Gandhi was not Gandhi. Nobody knows. He was in high school. She came to United States. Think about that. So there is another one, Sabat Islambuli. She came from Damascus, Syria. That she's a Kurdish Jewish woman. She came to study medicine along with Joshi. She is a Kurdish Jewish origins in the region that, as you know, that now part of the Iraq and Turkey, and the Iran and Israel. There's a lot of Kurdish Jewish people are there. You people don't know that they have their own celebrations. They do their festivals. In fact, so there is another lady came from Kei Wakami. She's from Tokyo, Japan. She is a traditional Japanese medicine at the time. Is Kampo is a Chinese traditional medicine, basically just a modified little bit. They all came in ships through the missionaries. They came through Christian missionaries, in fact. So they all three came. Life in that is a microscope. At the time they had a microscope. So they had a life in Women's Medical College of Pennsylvania is a very interesting, all woman. That is only time the woman let them go to school is because that only OBGYN, gynecology, obstetrics. So they wanted to give that permission to that. That's why they gave it to them. That's why they did that. So they let a few women to go to school for the medical school. But the courses are very similar: anatomy, physiology, and the materia medica. They call pharmacology. They're more or less all the courses are expanded now, but basic courses are same. The sanitation is the biggest thing at the time. This bacteria, they know that existence of bacteria and the viral microbiome, micro things they know about already at the time. So they all the girls are having a fun. They're playing with all the skeletons. They're not afraid of it at the time. That's funny. They were not afraid of the skeletons and bones. They had a lot of fun. So that is all the girls' school, girls' dormitory, I think. you know. So she's a Joshi was the only one. They're all moved. The Islamboli and then Japanese woman and Syrian woman. They are Christian. They converted to Christianity. Only woman who is not converted to Christianity is a Joshi. That's why she was a Hindu. She wrote about pregnant woman in India, how to get the Ayurveda, and she wrote her final thesis on Ayurveda. She did that in the Ayurveda. Um, she wrote the complete thesis along with the allopathy English medicine. At the time, the biggest debate was C-section debate, to be or not to be. Whether you should do or not is a huge debate. Natural selection, a natural thing has to do. It is C-section. Some strong Christian religious leaders were arguing against C-sections. It was a big debate, but it was thank God it resolved. But C-sections were good for certain cases, certainly. But now that you see Ayurveda, she wrote that very interesting, as the importance of the obstetrics can be recounted by only by the value of life and the health. So it's a both are paramount importance. And she wrote in her. She's a very prolific writer for her age. Joshi was a prolific writer, and she wrote that actually in that sense. We need to give a top. You need to give a clear understanding of these C-sections and all those things, and their life givers, women are. So we have to pay utmost importance to that those kind of medicine. Ayurveda is a basically herbal medicine and also different kind of plants and everything. So actually, we know now is the pregnancy is a very very heart and lungs. They do 30 to 50% work harder. There's almost the endurance test for a woman. During the pregnancy. That's I didn't know that as a man who don't pay attention to it. 30 to 50% heart and lungs work harder than before. Can you believe that, guys? Think about that, guys. We think we don't know that all those things. Now we're realizing. I have two kids. I didn't realize it. Now I'm realizing now after studying these things. So live births are 30% now. That is, I think C-sections are kind of overdone nowadays. But there's a disadvantage of the C-sections. Is the microbiome research is showing that when you do birth canal, the babies cannot break down the sugars. So let me go back 1 second. Babies cannot break down the sugars, so they need the microbiomes, that's which is stay in the gut and the birth canal. So the woman, when she's giving a birth, she gives these microbiomes to the baby. So, in one of the problem is the microbiomes can be wiped out from that process. That's why we see a lot of allergies. One of the complaints is that because of the C-sections, there may be possibility, there may be a lot of these allergies and all those asthma and other things. They're saying diseases are more prone now. The babies are. So microbiome plays an important role. These are the bacteria, fungi, and viruses. They give woman, mother gives the baby when they through the birth canal. Actually, sterile in the placenta. Inside the placenta is sterile, completely sterile. Once she comes out, she has to give those microbiomes to the baby so she can break the sugars out. That's what my understanding was. So Ananda Joshi wrote a very powerful thing. She was kind of famous. The reason was she did not convert into Christianity. So the whole America paid a lot of attention in 1885. All the American press were paying attention. They wrote books on her. They wrote articles on Philadelphia Inquirer. There is a lot of things came out in the about her because she was wearing sari and bindi and all those Indian traditional clothes. So they're all Ananda Joshi. She was a very short-lived. She was sick by the time she came down here. She stuck with the most likely tuberculosis, and she died at the age of 25. She went back to India, the Pune city of Pune, and she died immediately. In fact, not too many months she lived. She said that all I could do, I did it. She said that actually Queen Victoria gave her from England, gave her, send her a telegram saying that congratulating her graduation. But all of them are got MDs. Sabat Islambuli, she went back to Damascus, Syria. Then we don't have much information about her in the history, doesn't have a lot of information. She moved to Cairo, got married and moved to Cairo. Then we don't know anything about her after that. This is unfortunate that we should know. And uh, and Kai Wakami, she stayed for a while in the United States. She did some externships here in the United States in the some Chicago hospital. And then after that, she moved back to Japan in Tokyo. She started a clinic, her own clinic and hospital. She is the only one who lived long enough. So she lived until the age of 90. She died in 1941, actually. Kei Wakami, that is a picture of that you see that she was the only one lived long enough and had pictures from that time. We don't have any other history from there. These are the women they went so so much to come down here and to become a doctors. That is a fascinating, right? So the reason was Ananda Joshi. We have a lot of extensive literature on this 25-year-old. She didn't even practice medicine. Immediately she died at the age of 25. So actually there is a lady, it's a Boston socialite. Her name is Caroline Dahl. She is a feminist and non-fiction writer. She wrote a biography on the Ananda Joshi. She wrote Ananda Bai Joshi. She wrote a biography. It's available actually free. You can read it in the online. So she wrote about this 25-year-old woman. What she says in that book is that she has a prolific writer. She spoke English very well. She met her actually a few times. Caroline Dahl. She met her actually, and then she said that she spoke English very well, and she's a very powerful in expressing and writing. She was writing a very communicating excellent. She was writing letters to her and her family back in, and she's a Marathi woman. She wrote a lot of Marathi language and Marathi in Indian language, Hindu dialect. She wrote the letters back there, and I hope somebody published it. Now I don't know much about it, but she wrote a lot of letters. She communicated very well about the allopathic, the American medicine, and then practices here in healthcare practices, and then Indian medicine. She communicated back to the Ayurveda, to the American medicine medical school. Then there's Dr. Professor Sarah Ross Kapit. She wrote a thesis, final year thesis on her PhD. She wrote Educating Women Physicians of the World in 1883 to 1911. A fascinating read. You must read it. I can send it. It is a free, available online. It is one of the, it's like a spy novel. You see that how that woman went through the things, that how they defied all the hardships, and completely, different things. At the time, Sarah's mom, she would not eat a pork, and the Hindu woman, she's a vegetarian. All these restrictions, it is a really tough. I know how they survived and became a doctors as a tribute. So, Dr. Joshi, I have a t-shirts and everything you can buy on online. That's why Ananda Joshi, that's only one I have. I don't have anything else on the other woman. I will do that for you. Actually, when I was talking with Laura is talking about physician burnout. They said that she said that very interesting thing. Laura said that it is that com- is a patient satisfaction is a powerful weapon for the physician burnout, to reduce the physician burnout. I'm going to bring her back. Yes, there is a Mother Teresa said that is a spirituality made her the serve the humanity. The Mother Teresa was a medical nurse. She was a nurse actually. She was trained nurse. She got trained in nursing. She said that, so they call it now, there is a name in the medical dictionary. It's called Mother Teresa effect. If you focus on spirituality, and then, as Laura saying that, that satisfaction towards the patients can make a difference. Let me bring Laura, and I will ask her what she thinks about it, and then let me bring her back. And 1 second, 1 second. I'm playing still. Hey, Laura, welcome back.
Hi.
What do you think? It is a very they think about women coming from other countries because to get a MD, how much pain they went through.
Yeah, I mean, back in those days, it's crazy. So I didn't grow up in the US either. So I totally understand, coming to the US in a new culture around interesting new people. It's a certainly an added challenge for sure. And I can't even imagine what it would have been like a couple hundred years ago now.
100 years ago, yes. So Laura, so you're a physician entrepreneur. So what you're trying to what you're doing nowadays? What is your venture?
Yeah, so I have a very strong mission for physician advocacy, having seen what and experienced what physicians go through. So what I do is I help match physicians with practices that will treat them well. So I do this in a few ways. I work with physician owned private practices and I vet them and make sure that I really feel like they would treat their physicians well. It is very rare when I come across a practice that I feel like, it's not something I can work with if I don't feel like they'll treat their physicians well. But I work with practices that I do feel like would be a good place for a physician to work. And I go out and I help them find those doctors. It's very hard for smaller practices that don't have the giant budget and time that the large hospital systems do to find their physicians. And at the same time, the physicians are joining the big corporations that aren't treating them very well. So I help those physicians find practices as well. And bonus if it's one of the clients that I'm working with, one of the practices that I really feel will treat their physicians well. If a physician does want to or is interested in joining a hospital, then we work together um, on making sure that they really advocate for themselves in the process. And I think that's absolutely huge. I think that if the physicians learn that we have a choice and we don't have to accept whatever we're given or sign whatever contract we're given, and be able to look at it critically and be able to advocate for ourselves in the process, I think that a lot in the system can change.
This the 9 to 5 concept is coming down, is tumbling down. These areas of 9 to 5 concept, people are wanted to work whenever they want to work, whatever they want, whatever the times they want to work. That is going to be the future. Not only, particularly for physicians, particularly they do anyway all the times, but it is going to be more and more that people are going to have freedom. I wanted to take off next week. I want to go to the vacation to I want to go to Mexico and have fun. They don't have that. So that a lot of these big corporations, they don't have that flexibility sometimes, so that you could provide that they can work anytime they want to work, before commitment, and then say, hey, I'm available these times, and then I don't need to work. You can facilitate that process, right?
Potentially, what you're talking about is locum tenens. So, yeah, if there's a practice that's looking for locum tenens physicians, absolutely, I'd be able to facilitate that for sure.
You're doing a permanent placement, that you're talking about permanent placement.
I do permanence. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but let me ask you the follow-up question on that one, is a tough one. Is that a lot of private practitioners in Texas, you have lots of private practices. In one of the challenges is that they're getting older. All the patient, all the doctors, usually the younger physicians. Now I see most of the people who are coming out of the school, they're not starting their own practices. They all go straight to work for a big healthcare system. So, for example, in California, I used to live in California in the Silicon Valley. It is a Kaiser Permanente, Stanford, Palo Alto Foundation. They took over. Even in Texas, is becoming that's bigger. So, what do you think this that would they continue to eventually they take over the practice? Do you suggest that, so the older doctors starting practices, that is, or you sell them, you buy and sell the practices in that direction, or just to find a placement right now?
Are you saying, do I help physicians find doctors to buy a
Yeah,
practice?
So what I'm saying is most of the doctors who are looking for other doctors in independent practices, most of them are very older. They're not young people anymore because they're not coming to the starting their own practices. So how do you match that? Eventually, they may retire. They may take over this practice. Eventually, that is your goal.
Yeah, so it depends a lot on the practice itself. So some practices are looking for physicians to be a partner. And so in that case, what I do is I work with physicians looking to learn or be a part of the business side of medicine, because being a partner means that you kind of take on the business responsibility, and a lot of it just depends on what the practice itself would match well with. Some practices aren't looking for someone to be a partner, and in that case, you know someone who's looking for partnership would not be a good fit for them. So it really all depends on what the practice itself is looking for, as far as matching them with the right doctor.
How do they reach you, Laura? What is your website and what is the name of the website?
My website is www.happydayhealth.co. And there is a contact form on there for people to contact me. Typically, I'll get back to people within a few days directly, or every now and then I'll have one of my assistants help out with that if I'm a little busy.
So, do you check all their credentialing and you do all the stuff actually? Do you have any help? Are you doing the whole work or is just matching the right people to right people? That's main focus right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do most of the work. I do have a couple assistants that help out, a few assistants that help out with a lot of the background things that I do as well. But as far as the person to person, that's all me.
Okay. But it's good. That is what entrepreneurs do. Just to do the quality that you provide, other than a bigger healthcare system. Everybody's a number. What you're saying is you're paying a personal attention to all these doctors and then see what they want. I used to place doctors. I can tell you, it is just unbelievable. They want to know where the high schools are, where the real estate is, where the houses are. I went through where the food restaurants are, where ethnic places are. It is just a challenge in itself, that you do that. Hats off to you. I did that. I went through a lot of pain on that one. Hats off to you on that one. It is a more of psychology matching than skill matching is the last small part of it. Psychology matching is the bigger part of it.
Well, I'm fortunate because they're my people, so I think the same way. It's not even, it's not tough for me because I am one
Yeah,
of them. I mean,
correct.
I think like that. So, if they want to know where the schools are, well, of course they do,
They,
right?
they
Like,
do.
doesn't everyone?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Uh, well, thank you so much for joining with us, Laura. And let me talk with you. Just thank you. It's so much. It's truly an honor to have you. And then I bring different people, different perspectives, and bring to the table. That's my goal. And this broadcast is taking off, and I'm getting quite a bit of people. In fact, I want to show you that we are getting a very the next ones are coming up. That I'm getting a yeah. I didn't have that one. Yeah. So I'm Dr. Neurosurgeon is coming up in the next 1 month. Neurosurgeon, Harvard trained neurosurgeon, and then IBM Watson Health former director. She's coming online. She's coming with us, and then I'm a physicist, so I'm more excited about. There is a guy coming from CERN, Large Hadron Collider, talking about particle physics and how it helps in the healthcare. That is all three are coming up. I'm truly excited, and thank you, Laura. I really appreciate it. So good night, all of you, and let me play this final.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it